All right, guys. Hey, it's John Rapp with the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Got a great show for you tonight. Hopefully, everybody can jump back online when they get free and available, and we'll get started. So let's go ahead and kick it off.
You're watching the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast, presented by Feelfree Kayaks. Paddle, pedal, or power, there's something for everyone. ZPRO Lithium, serious power for serious anglers. DuBro Fishing, American marine application soft plastics. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom bait maker. Raw and unfiltered. Streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Bringing you gear reviews and candid interviews from the industry's best. Angler profiles, tournament news, and legendary knowledge from kayak fishing's best. Grab that cold drink and get settled in. Now here's John Rapp, our host.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. John Rapp here. The Toothless Wonder has made it. So, yeah, I'm still waiting on that new tooth to come in. Maybe I'll get it for Christmas, but bear with me, guys. Hey, I wanted to show you what I got in the mail from the boys from DuBro. I got it. It's in my Do More Cup. If you guys were watching ICAST this year, this was released at ICAST. I got the number 4. This is stamped number 4. Of course, number 1, 2 went to Brian and Brian. Number 3 went out to Matt Gibson, and then I got number 4. So jump in there and get yours ordered at DuBro Fishing. The Do More Utility Cup has, as you can see, that razor blade right on the side right there. That's your line cutter. Got the capability of mounting it, track mount on the bottom. You can track mount it on the side. And, you know, as you can see, it'll hold that standard cup real easy. So, hey, I just want to share that with you guys. They are out. They're in production. Jump on there and get it. See, we got a few people on here. Dwayne's talking to a few folks. We got Tim Williams on with us. Tim, hey, buddy. Roy Widgeon over at US Kayak Fishing Magazine. You might want to pay attention to this, Roy, and chime in. We got a great show here tonight. The host from Final Cast, Randy Newton's here. And Dean Bowling's just jumped on and said hello. So, hey, Dwayne Walley is here with me tonight. He's in the background. Unfortunately, as of at the moment, I got a message from Dan. He's at work. He's tied up. And Greg, I planned on being here, but unfortunately, life got in his way. He's on vacation, and something popped up down there with family that he couldn't get away from. So without further ado, let's bring on the kayak tournament management master, Dwayne Walley.
Oh, hush. Thank you, buddy. Good to see you tonight.
Hey, man, I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. And, you know, I thought this was a good topic for, you know, you and me and a couple of these other guys that we invited to come talk with. You and I have been around since the renaissance of kayak fishing, you know, I mean, of competitive kayak fishing as it grew and it became something, you know, above the standard outing. It became something more than just a local club. It became regional. It became national. And now, you know, people are walking the stage of bass, you know. But I thought we could talk about, you know, the evolution, where it started and where we think it'll go.
You know, we go back, you talk about going back that far, man. I mean, so, you know, everybody says OG this, OG that. And I remember you and I discussed a few things, but I don't know that we ever met until that first tournament at KBF at Kentucky Lake in March of 2015.
Yeah.
You stood underneath that there was several booths in there, if you'll recall.
Right.
And you were standing under that booth and you were holding up one of my TourneyX, one of the first TourneyX yellow t-shirts that I had. And that was kind of one of the things that, I mean, driving up to that event, driving up, I set up my LLC for TourneyX. I'll tell you that. So the start of TourneyX was pretty much back then, in 2015. 2014 was when it was kind of in its infancy. We were kicking around ideas and we were starting to write some code. And then this happened and the whole world opened up to me. I mean, I met AJ McWhorter there. I met you there. God, there were so many. I mean, Chad Hoover was there. I mean, it was the who's who of the kayak industry, kayak fishing industry, Now, did we have the Guillermo Gonzalez's there? I don't remember. Did we have some of those people there? You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that are out there now that are just knocking down doors, from Texas to up in Virginia. I mean, everywhere, right? They're doing great things. But when you go back to the beginning, now I can't go to the beginning because I wasn't even back around. People say the beginning was even further back than that. But I think the trackable competitive fishing tournament series did not start big time until we could track everything until the 2014, 2015 era.
That's the way I look at it too. It was everything before that was Bush League basically, And then when you came along and you brought your platform, and you designed it, you built it, it became more legitimate. And
I mean, let's face it, iCatch. Not iCatch, but
iAngler. Yeah,
iAngler was. I talk to Mike Christopher all the time. iAngler started the same year we did, I think. So we're on the same timeline, and which I love the guy to death. He's such a great guy to sit and talk with. I don't know if you ever talked to Michael, but he's such a nice guy. He really is. Yeah, I mean, and then we see, I think even Hoover had something. We talked about this a few minutes ago. I think Hoover had something through a website where he was, and Brad Case would know a lot more about that because he would enter in his catches through an upload feature on a website, and then it would be manually checked and verified that way by picture. But to be a true, like app-based, web-based, automatic totaling, the cumulative fish catch didn't really start until I think the end of 2014, 2015.
Right. I used iAngler a couple times back when it was only that platform and yours, when some people were still using, which I believe at that time was Kayak Anglers of Pennsylvania was using it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it really is like we were talking before the show started. Things have really progressed and accelerated over the years, and they've evolved. They've changed too, because last year I think we talked at least 2 or 3 months ago. You were at 105,000. You're probably what, at 110?
We're at 101,000.
Okay.
Almost 102. Yeah.
Okay.
We just broke 100,000 around the time we were at ICAST, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
And so we're about 101, maybe 102,000, which is a huge milestone. I go back to thinking, I only had 100 users in the beginning, and I was like, oh wow, 100 users is crazy. And then now we got 100,000.
Well, you figure that the first event that we fished down in Kentucky in 14 was like 235, right? So you had 235 people fished that event. That was your first. You almost broke 1,000 by the end of that year. After year one. So then now 10 years later, you're over 100,000. That's growth in this sport. Yeah. I mean, that's over 100,000 people have logged in. They've signed up for some type of tournament, either state, regional, or national, and have fished competitively.
Yep. And we see them come and go, man. I mean, I go back to even looking back at Texas. I mean, there was Cats. You remember the Cats?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hobie, that's who Hobie actually took over and made it the Hobie BOS, right?
No, Cats. So Cats was from, what was that? retail store down there. I can't remember.
Oh,
We were just talking about it.
The one that just went out of business, and
it was Summit. It changed from one to
okay.
Summit, and then
Okay.
Cats was kind of derived from some of the people that worked there. And man, I'll tell you what, for a year or two, I was like, I just want to get cats. I just like to have cats running on TourneyX. And boom, there it was. We had them. And then there was cats up north, and there was cats down in Texas, and then they're gone. They're gone.
Right.
So then the new people come in, right? We've got news coming in. We got old going out. We got OGs that hang around, for the love of the sport. And I don't see me going anywhere. I don't see you going anywhere. I think that there's going to be those people that just are going to keep this thing moving forward, But then you go back. We talked about a little earlier. We talk about, okay, how has the equipment changed
Right.
over the years? My goodness, we went into this thing with paddles. I mean, did you see the picture I posted a couple of days ago with me sitting it was a kind of a dark, dim photo and having a paddle stretched across me, and I was casting a.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
That was in 2015. Me and my son and two other guys, J.R. Pate and another guy. We went and floated the Little Red River up in Arkansas, Little Red. And my son took that photo, and talk about being bare minimum. I mean, man, I had a kayak, I had a life jacket, and a paddle, and a fishing rod. And that was it.
Yeah,
and that's all we had back then.
And and the old school guys that fished that way, which was me, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a great fisherman. I can't compete with these guys today. Now, if you give me a pole and let me go out and read the river and read the lake, and I can fish with them. But I am not a sonar guy. I cannot find fish. I cannot find structure out in the middle of the water with that stuff. I'm learning. I've got some great tutors. Jody Queen taught me some things back in August. Buddy Vance has been a great tutor when it comes to sonar, and that's the reason I went with the Humminbird, because I like that 360. So, but and like Randy Newton popped in, he's still old school like that too.
Well, let me ask you this question then. How frustrated do you get? Okay, let's just put that in perspective. You've got 50% of the guys out there with forward-facing sonar and all these electronics, and 50% that don't have it. You're out there in the water trying to compete with them. I get frustrated because I want to utilize my electronics, but I don't know how to do it. And then I get frustrated. And then you know what? Half my day's gone because I've been messing around trying to learn that type of stuff. Now, do you fit in that boat with me? I mean,
I do.
People do.
I do. I revert to instinct, because once I'm out there and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to take it, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to use my electronics, I'm going to find those beds, because that's why I bought the Mega 360, so I can locate those beds around me and then move. But when you're in June, July, August, when they're not really bed fishing, you're looking for fish in groups and in along the bank. It's different. Now, at that point in time, I'm looking for structure. And if I don't find it,
but you're going back to instinct. You're not
exactly.
You just say screw that stuff. I'm going to go old school. I think that a lot of people on here. I mean, look at Nicholas. I think Nicholas is down in Florida, I believe.
Yes.
I know Dane is up in Pennsylvania. Randy's somewhere between Pennsylvania and Florida, somewhere over there on the East Coast.
He's North Carolina now.
But I know that. All in all, we have our own ways of fishing. I get frustrated with electronics. I put them on my boat. It looks good, all that good stuff. But what do I use it for? I look at the bottom. Can I interpret it? No, not all the time. And then I get frustrated. And I see my buddy over catching fish because he's fishing instinct, off of instinct. Right.
Right.
So, but.
And that's the thing, we were talking, that's one of the aspects that have changed in the last 10 years. And then we've went from paddle 14, 15. Then you see more pedal drives coming in 16, 17. And 17, 18, 19, you started seeing a lot more motorization. You started seeing 18, 19, you start seeing all these guys throwing those XI3s on the front with spot lock. Guys, I mean, I can remember the KBF National Championship in 2017. Me and John Gillespie were out on the water. I had a paddle. He had a little motor. But we were watching guys who were able to hold position because they had the capability with their XI3s, holding position with the rough water that year. Mm-hmm. If you remember, we had some tornadoes that blew around through as all those storms are coming up from your area. It was raining and wet that whole year. And those guys were able to stay in position and fish, and they were catching them bigger fish that were staying off a ridge on a ridge line. It was tough. So that was all. You see advantages there. Now we've got the Bixby's, we've got the NK180s and the 402s, the 1103s and the 300s. Yep. Power. I mean,
raw power. Yep.
I'm telling you.
Well, it's a good point you're bringing up, because yesterday I went out fishing. Okay. And everybody talks about, what is your setup? Oh, I use a bow mount. I use a rear mount. Everybody's different. Hey, what's up, Michael? How you doing? But so one uses a front, one uses a rear. Okay. Well, okay. They have their pluses and minuses all the way around, right? I see people that, one of my buddies I fished with yesterday got very frustrated, and I'll tell you a little story. And so we were out fishing. We got in water yesterday morning, and he's got a PA, and he runs a NK 300, and he also runs his pedal drive. Okay. So he's got his pedal drive in the hole. He'll flatten it out while we're going A to B. We get there,
right?
See him using his pedal drive all day. Guess what? His pedal drive died on him. He broke a belt yesterday. The frustration that I saw in that guy he pulled the drive out and just started using the motor. The frustration that I saw with him trying to use that motor to do the little short in and outs, turns, backing up, keeping yourself, location,
right,
it was unreal. He just couldn't do it now, and that's just lack of doing it, because you get so in tune to using your pedal drive and not using everything that you brought to the table. Okay. Now, me, on the other hand, I can take my rear motor and I can dang near spot lock in the wind, upstream or downstream, because that's all I do. I mean, I can sit there literally, I can put it in reverse, and I don't even think about which foot to push forward or to make myself turn this way or this way. It just happens. I do it because I do it all the time. And like if I want to spin around on a dime, I just hit it, spin around, back up. And this is another thing. These new boats that we have. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, Dwayne, you're talking about all the things that you can do. Go over quickly what your setup is, and so people will understand in their mind. They can see what you're doing.
So currently, in the past, and I still have it, is my PA 360. And I run 1103 on it. I have two 1103s. I have two kayaks. I run sheer motor on both of them. I run foot steering through a cable.
Okay.
My 1103, and I just found this out not too long ago, we have pads down here. Our pad fields are 3-foot diameter pads. They're huge.
Yeah.
Pad stems are 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch stalks. Okay. And they'll be sticking out of the water 3 feet. It's unbelievable. We saw some yesterday that the water was down, but the pads were sticking up 3 foot. As we were cruising, we couldn't see over the tops of the pads.
Oh, wow.
That's how they were. But when we were in the pads, so my second boat is the Native Titan 12 and a half.
Okay.
Okay, that's my second boat. It also runs 1103. What I have found between those two boats is this. As you know, on the back of a PA, the curve on the back of the PA, it's got the pontoons, and then you got that little point in the middle. So that pontoon's under with a point in the middle.
Right.
Guess where those pads go when you go over a thick batch of pads? Where do they go? They end up pushing to the middle, and they go right down the middle, and they get caught up in that prop.
Yep.
It don't matter whether it's a bow mount or a butt mount, it gets caught up in that prop. I have noticed with my native, it's a flat bottom across the back. You know what it does? It pushes those pads outwards.
Spread them out.
And it does not get caught up in the pads. And I can go through them with ease. So
Nice.
It has opened my eyes to other boats and what they can and can't do. Stability versus, and the stability, as you know, what we had back in the day in 2015 there was no stability. You couldn't stand in these boats.
Well, I always giggle nowadays because back then, you had the Feelfree lineup, which is I'm part of the Feelfree fishing team. Everybody complained and whined about how heavy they were, how slow they were. You go fast forward to now, everybody's using these PA 14s. They're using those TourneyXs. All those big boats. Heavy. They make the Feelfree lures look like lightweights nowadays.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the boat of mine runs about 5.5 miles an hour with that 1103. Native, and the PA will run wide open about 6.
A little faster.
Yeah, just because it's narrow in the back. So the 1103 is an animal in the grass on that native. It certainly is, Michael. It's flat across the back. It pushes that grass out of the way. If you do ever decide to go to an NK300 or a Torpedo, whatever that might be, get the rock guard. Save yourself some time. Get the rock guard in the weed cutter.
Well, I've got the 300, but I haven't researched to see if that rock guard that you guys use on your 1103s or something, they make one for 300, because I have not taken that bad boy down out to the river. I used that Moken 10, which rides higher. It holds more weight because I'm a big boy. I took it down to the river. I got the Bixby J2 on it, and it pushed me right up to the rapids. And I left that motor down, right down on, because I have it set up on my rudder, and I left it in the rocks, pushed right up to there. The way that rock guard's set up for that, and Jody's got the 1103 with the rock guard, so he was out there pushing right through, and he was impressed that I was able to get up through there. So
I don't know if the 1103 rock guard will fit the NK300, but I do know they make one because my buddy Don's got one on his.
Okay.
And I think that Michael says, Dustin says it should fit. So
let's see, Johnny Cart there just confirmed what you said there. So.
Hey guys, if y'all will share this up, let's get into the conversation. Let's get some more people in here because I know, I forgot about this meeting tonight. I really did. To be honest with you, John, I know we talked about it, but I forgot. But it's going to be a great meeting, visiting about, the old days and new stuff and thinking where we came from. And, we just kind of reminiscing a little bit. Kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just amazing. We're touching on the equipment aspect of it now. We haven't even talked about the level of changes on the national scale or even state scale here in West Virginia. How things have fallen back and went forward. How numbers, we haven't talked numbers. On a big scale or low scale. Finances. Why are we seeing a downturn in numbers in tournaments? Things like that.
And if you guys out there have reasons why you're not fishing or why you think people are not fishing, please post them up. We want to hear them. We want to see them. I do know that from a TourneyX standpoint, looking from last year's numbers to this year's numbers, and this is a month by month deal, we are down 100 to 200 transactions a month.
I believe it.
A transaction is basically, where somebody comes in and signs up for a tournament, fishes a tournament. We're down about 100 to 200 per month. And that's each month for the, 10 months that we fish, because we really don't count December, January as much.
Yeah.
So February to November, it's down. And is that 2024 election season? Is it I got no money to fish? Is it I'm tired of fishing? What is it? What's the answer?
And guys, y'all ponder on that. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
This is the Rusty Hook Podcast, supporting people and companies that support us. Feelfree Kayaks, paddle, pedal, or power, something for everyone. DuBro Fishing, manufacturer of fishing and marine products for freshwater and saltwater anglers. ZPRO Lithium, high-quality, specifically designed lithium batteries to power your outdoor recreations. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom soft plastics bait maker. You're tuned in to the Rusty Hook Podcast. More than a podcast, but a way of life. From the biggest lakes to the smallest creeks, we are all things kayak fishing. Refresh that drink, turn up the volume, and feel the excitement. It's time for the second half of the show. Live, raw, and unfiltered. Now, let's join the one and only Big Daddy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. We got a great little show going on here with a good friend of mine, old timer, old school, the management guru of tournaments, Dwayne Walley. Let's bring him back on. Let's get going on here. Dwayne, welcome back to the second half of the show. Guys, you all heard Dwayne encourage all of you to give us the reasons why, if you're not fishing, or if you are, what you're doing, where you're going, and just talk to us here. Let's make this interactive.
Let's get this straight. Let's get this straight just a minute. You said old, okay?
Oh, well, I mean, but you're still beautiful.
I'm a good-looking 58. How's that, bro?
Hey, you're doing real well, brother. I'm 58 myself, and you were giving me a hard time there because, so what happened to your mouth? And I lost a tooth after I cast because I went down there and got slapped around by the industry, and they sent me home. So no, man. But here, see, Jeremy Stacy working 6 days a week puts an end to my tournament fishing. Yeah, see, Jeremy, I mean, he started Southern West Virginia years ago with the group of guys. Then we got Roy from U.S. Kayak Fishing Magazine. I'm screen surfing and building content. So he's basically saying he's stuck behind a computer.
So let's talk about that. Is it age related? Is it people looking to solidify their retirement? Is it people trying to grow? I mean, are we chasing the dollar? Are we just saying, okay, fishing is not my #1 thing anymore? You know what I'm saying? What is it? That's to dig a little deeper.
Well, I think you've hit it on the head. Now, I believe it's all about resources. I'm thinking that when you got to spend possibly up to $300 just to fish a tournament in your home state or in a local club, you got tournament fees, you got to travel, you got to buy licenses, you got to maybe have to pay for parking.
Do you think that the permit cost that's all bundled into that? I don't know, because Mississippi doesn't have any permit fees yet. We don't, but I know that a lot of states do have permit fees and it costs money. So could that be some of it? I'm sure. So.
It could be. And, here's the other thing, our generation, our group of guys, I mean, the 20 to 25, 26-year-olds, they come out, they fish hard, then they get in relationships, they get married, they have kids. So you'll lose them from 28 to 35, 36 because they got to get them babies up to long enough to where they're walking and they're easy to deal with, and mama will give them a chance to go out and fish on the weekend.
Bro, that's 8 years.
It is.
Think about this. 8 years from now, I'm going to be 64.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm probably not going to be in it. I don't know where I'm going to be. Nobody really knows where we're going to be. But, we've been in this gig for 12 years, 10, 12 years,
I'm telling you. It's been good to us.
It has. It has. I mean, the relationships we've started and we've kept, and we've, I think we've all matured into adults at some point in time from what we were, back in the day.
Yeah.
There's no more finger pointing. There's no more of that crap anymore. We don't need it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just let's enjoy it, enjoy what we've got, and have fun.
I agree. A lot of us use this sport to decompress from the job. You know, we this is where we go to get away from the stresses of life. And I hate when I see other entities bring that stress into our sport. So don't be that guy out there, guys and gals. Let's enjoy our time on the water. Let's enjoy company with the people that that enjoy the sport with us. So
there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of drama going on over in the glitter boat side, with the forward facing sonar crap that's coming up. Speaking
yeah,
of
well,
which,
and they didn't do themselves much favor here lately by posting video and stuff like that of guys talking smack on camera. That should have never been done. But you know, be men, take care of it off camera. Work out your differences and move on and go enjoy the sport. But hey, I mean, dude, so we were talking back in 14, 15, 16.
oh
It,
wow,
it was KBF on the
yep,
national scene.
yep,
And then now, audience, y'all get with me. Let me know if I'm wrong. Uh, 15, 16, 17, it was still KBF. They expanded. They went out and did regions, and then you started seeing the rise of Hobie. Hobie came in 17, 18, 19, 20. I mean, just 2 years ago, Dwayne, if you didn't sign up for a Hobie event within the first 2 hours,
you
you
couldn't
didn't
get in.
you didn't get in.
Nope.
Now we're seeing, and when Hobie was king,
Yep.
Bass opened up their door and came in.
Yep.
Now you're seeing the same thing with bass right now. Everybody wants to fish bass. Everybody's making that their priority when those schedules come out. And now you're seeing the Hobie numbers fall. What is the reason behind that, guys? Is it prestige? Is it location? Is it cost? Like to hear what your all thoughts are on that. And Dwayne, pipe in. Let me know what you think here. And
Well, I mean, I think, we did see a cost. We as in the consumers saw a cost increase from where Hobie was to where they are now. And you know how tight we are as kayak anglers. When they see an increase, then a lot of people shy away from it. Now, I don't know if that's all it was. I have no idea. But with everything does cost. It's going to go up. Okay.
yeah,
I, I think there's a shiny new product out there with Bass. Bass has a big name. We could say it's bigger than Hobie, equal to Hobie, however you want to look at it. The stage is a fairly good size that people want to get there. I don't know, man. I do want to go back real quick and say that a lot of people don't know this story. I'd like to tell it if you don't mind, real quick.
definitely.
The story that happened with how bass came to his existence in the kayak industry. And like I said, a lot of people don't know this, but I had a phone call from, and I'm not going to name names, but I had a phone call from a guy, and he had pushed me for 6 to 8 months about me meeting with Bass, BASS. He said, "Man, you need to talk to these Bass people. We need to get the kayak series in." He said, "I think it'd be a hit." And you know what I did? I just shrugged it off because I was like, I'm never going to be able to talk to these bass people.
Well, that's typical because you don't give yourself enough credit. You still look at yourself as someone who's not a name in the industry, and I've told you for years you are. So,
sorry, my kitty just went by. So, and I don't, John, and I probably never will. Okay, I'm just a guy
you're humble.
that has I'll tell you like it is if I can. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'll try to tell you like it is. But I am, I put my shirt on, pants on just like everybody else. And I just want to have fun. I want to enjoy this. I want to meet people. I want to see people having fun, fishing, make it a little cash if they want to, whatever. But like I said, so going back, we had this conversation with this guy, and he says, listen, he said, I'll try to get a meeting with one of the bass guys, upper bass people. And guess what? He did. And I was going to Caddo Lake. This was for I don't remember if it was 2016, 17, maybe even 18. I can't remember. Well, it was a Caddo Lake National Championship. Holy crap, there's a jumping spider on the screen. Get off there, boy. Go. Fly, be free. Man, he came out of nowhere. Anyway, I don't like spiders. But,
I hear you, especially down where you're at.
Whew, man. So anyway, we had that meeting. I was driving to Caddo Lake for the national championship, and on the way over there, so the guy, we got on the phone with 5 people from Bass, 5, and an hour and 40 minutes later, we were still talking while I was driving. And so when we got off the phone, I called back to the gentleman from Bass, and he said, Dwayne, I don't know how y'all kept him on the phone for all those guys on the phone for an hour and 40 minutes. He said, normally it's a 10-minute meeting and they're done. But they were intrigued by the opportunity to be in the kayak industry. They must have seen something during that meeting that turned their heads and said, we want to be part of it.
Right.
And so that was an hour-and-a-half meeting, which then turned into me contacting some of the people at Bass and letting them use TourneyX for a trial version. So every year they have this trial. I mean, it's this little fun tournament over at Lay Lake or somewhere over in Alabama. And I set up everybody on TourneyX. I think it was 10 or 15 people. And they went out and fished and they competed. And they used the app and they were sending in the fish and just like we do now. And they absolutely loved it because of the competition. They loved it. A couple of months later, my wife and I had set up a meeting to go over and sit down with the CEO of Bass and several other people. And that was it. We sat down and had our meeting at like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. We met for about 2 or 3 hours. We ironed out some details about how we could create a tournament or a tournament series. And that's when we started. The idea was to just I have a tournament director in each little lake. Like we had Patrick Malone, which he's passed away, but Patrick would be in Texas, and I did have Steve. He helped us run one up in Tennessee, and then of course we had some in Gunnersville and other places. And it worked out great for a couple of years. But the anglers would letting me know we want more. And the more they wanted was they wanted one person to be at the tournament series like Hobie is. Like they want to be like that, where they have one person. And of course, I couldn't do it.
Right.
So we ended up kind of putting feelers out. And anyway, you know where it is now. So That's where Steve Owens came to be.
Steve jumped in.
Guy. That's right. That's where he became to be the guy, and it has prospered since that day.
Without a doubt.
I think that if I had not made that phone call back in 16 or 17, actually, let me back up and say this. Making that phone call in 16 or 17 to get this ball rolling with Bass was probably one of my greatest accomplishments, to get that going in the right direction. And me sitting on the stage in the background and watching those guys walk across the stage and getting those big trophies, it's like the pinnacle for me. It's like me being on stage with them. I see my friends doing something they always dreamed about doing, and I'm gonna tell you what, dude, it gets me choked up. So I'm very proud.
I hear you. Well, you should be. I mean, and it's been rewarding, and from the guys like me that have watched you develop this from day one to now, you're a part of the stage that you're watching people throw up TourneyX, on a big stage like that, and results and talking about it. It's amazing.
Yep. And know everybody at Bass. I mean, I know all of them, everybody. I can pick up the phone and call Chris Bowes, and he'll call me right back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I've got something to talk to him about, we'll talk for 20, 30, 45 minutes. Such a great guy. They have the passion. They have they're very humble and they want to see it grow too. They want to be part of it, and that's why all this has came to existence as it is now. Steve, Chris Bowes, all those guys. It's unbelievable.
So, I mean, obviously, you've got inside knowledge. Where do you expect to see the evolution of our tournament series in the next 5 years?
I think right now what I'm seeing is a lot more people going back to the grassroots. I really do. I think people are, I'm not saying they're tired of the traveling. I think they're having a little, it's kind of like the stock market does when it has a little bit of adjustment.
Right.
I think 2024 is an adjustment year. And I think of course it goes with the political side and all the stuff going on with
the economy.
Elections and the economy I think all that's going to get ironed out, first quarter, second quarter of next year when we get our new president, whoever it may be. But I think that there's going to be some calmness maybe next year, and I think that we're going to see things pick up. I think people they're getting kind of stale right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're pulling back. They're fishing their local events. But I think that we, as the OGs, still need to beat the drum a little bit and try to pull those people back in. And I think from those grassroots organizations, I think then they'll see going back out to the national events.
And that's the thing, being part of a local scene for the last 10 years, one of the things I prided myself in was developing kayak anglers, teaching them how to fish a kayak tournament, how to score fish, how to manage their boat, how to manage their catches, their times, how to be at check-in, how to present themselves and do things in that way. So when they left a West Virginia Kayak Anglers Tournament and they went to a Bass Nation event, and then I see them walking the stage, I look at them and I'm thinking, I like you, I feel a little pride knowing I got them started. I got them into the sport, gave them an avenue, a path to get to where they're at. And
everybody has their own situations. Everybody has their own story. And we talked about this at the ICAST. You and I did. I have not followed through with this because I really just haven't had time. But at some point, it's something I want to do. Is I want people to tell their story. I would love to hear everybody's story about, okay, where did you start at? Where did you come from? What was your contribution to this industry? You know what I'm saying? And we got people that are just now getting into it, or I've got people I'm just now meeting that I never knew they'd been in it for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know them 10 years ago. So
it's just like one of the gentlemen that's been commenting here, Roy Widgeon, where he's bringing back digital print magazine, giving people an opportunity to be in a spotlight magazine that he's built, where 10 years ago we had Chris Payne doing it with KBF magazine.
I remember that.
I
remember those days well.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, well, I was going to go there. I'm going to go ahead and go there. I know we've talked about bringing you on Paddle and Fin and doing that show. So make sure that you get with me when you're ready. I know Randy Newton had some stuff that he built for you. So when you get the time and you're ready to do that, we'll do that.
Sorry, my boss was talking to me. I'm back.
I know you're on call.
No, my other boss. You know the boss. You got one of
you.
those. She was letting me know something. Yeah, we're trying to get her a new car. So we're going through this whole sign these documents. I've never bought a car online. I don't know if anybody ever here has ever bought a car online, but we've got to take an 8-hour or 9-hour trip to go get this car because they're just not local anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do want to be part of this group. I think it's a great network. I appreciate both you and Randy and several others. Actually, our old buddy Daniel Woodcock, he's not on here tonight, but we were hoping we could get him on. And,
he sent me a text message, and he got work got him busy, so You know,
Yeah.
he's out there protecting and serving. So,
Yes, sir. Yep. Hey, what's up, Jason? Another go getter, Jason Plumley.
yeah,
He's been
works hard. He's been one of the guys that's kept West Virginia rolling the past 5 years. He took a year off. I don't know if he's coming back next year or not with Southern West Virginia, or if he's going to continue to do what I'm doing now or start doing, and that is just travel and fish when he's got time and enjoy that aspect of the sport. But
right.
yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you. Everything that you've talked about with us tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the sport goes. Hopefully, we see, like you said, that stock market, that ticker move up. We see more people get involved in the sport. But again, it's a lot like what you've indicated. We just gotta wait and see. I only fished 5 tournaments all year this year.
Right.
And pretty much over the last 3 years, it's been between 5 and 9. Because and then when I ran tournaments, I tried not to fish. I fished mine, fished some other locals, and did a lot more traveling. But nowadays, I find myself, Dwayne, doing what I see you doing some, is just going out on the water, fishing, shooting a little content, shooting some photos for your Instagram, and trying to stay a little relevant, maybe.
Yeah. I'll tell you a piece of information that you kind of went down a little while ago, that, and somebody actually posted in here, but I've met a couple of guys over the past. We just had conversations, through Messenger, what have you, and it's funny that one of them came to me and said, we talk about fishing and non-fishing, about who's fishing and where, why aren't you fishing, those things. But I had a guy contact me the other day, and he said, yeah, man, he says, I'm going to get to fish more next year in 2025. He said, because my daughter went to college,
Excellent.
And so I got her off to college, and then I turned right around and I get a call from another guy, and he says, man, we just had another baby, so I'm not going to be able to fish next year. So it's like, you got the ebbs and flows and whatever you want to call it and all that kind of stuff. But it's, we just got to keep pushing forward. I think the bass boat industry probably sees the same thing. You got people that can't afford boats and they sell them. Luckily, we can just stack ours in the garage and just wait till it's time to get back out there and do it again. We don't have to worry about that money as bad.
I saw that comment from Dane there, and he's another one of those guys that, like you said, he's been around since 2014. He's been working with kayak anglers of Pennsylvania for years, but he doesn't get out of Pennsylvania much, and people don't know who he is. But he is an OG, So
and one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet, Dane is. We've talked many times. He called me up and said, "Hey man, I need this or I need that," and look, just the camaraderie and the just visiting and having these conversations. People pick up on things, and man, call somebody if you need something.
Right.
We're all here to help, and Dane being one of them. You're welcome, buddy. No problem.
Definitely, yeah. Well, brother, I want you to go get you some dinner and work on signing those contracts and make Mama happy. And but I appreciate you. Tell her nothing but love for her, and hopefully, next time you guys are in West Virginia going down to her hold on place, you don't have to take that back road to get down there like you did.
Never again. I'm not going there.
That gravel road.
Long way around. Man, that was a mess.
I think we told that story on the last time you were here. So, but man, nothing but love for you and your family, and be blessed. And again, thank you for gracing your presence on the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast here on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network.
Well, thank you for the invite. I certainly appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll get our network on here, and you can help me out and get some things going. Be a little commentator with me. And,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, would love to. And I mean, we can get you about 4 or 5 stories recorded before you even start putting them up. We can get you recorded and go hard. So, but we'll get you. We'll definitely make it classy.
I understand. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, nothing but love. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, bud. Bye.
All right, guys. So that was the infamous tournament management directing the total package, Dwayne Walley. Took a few moments to jump online with me tonight and just talk about the evolution of kayak fishing over the years. So I appreciate all of you guys jumping on here and being interactive with me tonight. Maybe not be doing so many live shows here in the next few months because I want to get out on the water the last few evenings that we have here in West Virginia to catch some big bass feeding up for the fall. Anyway, I'm going to run a couple of commercials here so much. Just to run some stuff here. Got Cross Kicks video I want you guys to watch. If you're looking for some new shoes, Cross Kicks may be the way to go. We can get you a discount code. So take a look at this and we'll be right back.
I was initially introduced to Cross Kicks by doing a Google search looking for the perfect shoe that would allow me to unload my kayak from the ramp without changing shoes, getting in the boat, fishing all day, and being able to come back, get in the truck, and go home.
The big thing for me that made me wear Cross Kicks over other shoes was the versatility. I can go to the boat ramp, and then when I'm done at the boat ramp, I can go meet my wife and kids for a nice dinner and wear the same shoes and have, nice looking, comfortable shoes on.
I ordered Cross Kicks because of the backing strap, the drainage. Visually, I thought this has got to work better. Tried the shoe within the first week, felt it was phenomenal. It works for me. It allows me to rinse my feet off in the water, get back in the vehicle, continue on my day, and never have to change shoes throughout the day.
It keeps me comfortable all day long. That is a huge factor on the water. Comfort, comfort, comfort. And especially my feet being comfortable, protected, and knowing that when I step off my kayak, I'm gonna have good solid foot traction. That's a great feeling to have.
By the time I put my kayak in the water and get out and load my equipment up, my shoes are already dry. And I wouldn't change that about Cross Kicks for anything.
So yeah, go check out Cross Kicks if you need a good pair of shoes. And as you can tell, they look good and they do their job, keep you upright when you're in the water. You're not slipping and sliding. Anyway, John Rapp, appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Be blessed, stay safe. If you're on the water, make sure somebody knows where you're at and your timeline when you're going on, when you're getting off. And use some type of app like Live 360 or if you got an Apple where they can track where you're at. That way if something happens, they can find you. Timelines, always give them timelines. Always wear your PFD. Be safe.